So I was watching, or when I was making this video, I watched the 49th episode of Family Guy and the 187th episode, but can't remember which one it was. But Peter points to a map and shows where Istanbul is, and for whatever the reason, it made me think to look up where like the 49th degree, like latitude and longitude would be, and I looked up on the map, and Ukraine is actually part of it, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Maybe other people have talked about this. I don't know, but I found it pretty interesting. It's on 49 degrees north and 32 degrees east. So the flag is also blue and yellow. Blue and yellow, that's the green. That's the green is 49 as well. So then it says down here, the country is home to about 45.4 million people, including Crimea. And it's the source actually says from July 18th, 2014. So, I mean, that's fairly recent. So, 45.4. That is 45 and 54. I mean, that's pretty weird. So then a lot of the conflict that's going on over there, at least in the past year that we've heard about and whatnot, is about over Crimea. And it's like the little whatever part of it. If it's an island or a peninsula, it's that little part right there. But anyway, Crimea adds up to 49. Interesting to me. Ukraine adds up to 79, and these two numbers have went hand in hand a whole bunch of times. So just found that pretty interesting as well. So I just looked into Crimea a little bit here. However you pronounce that, I don't know, but like Crimea River, who knows? But it's on 45 degrees north, 34 degrees east. So that's the reverse love. That's evil 45. So look at the little history here of see, Oblast is a province, it says here. So the Crimean Oblast, and it was with the Russian SFSR from 1945 to 1954. Really? That's pretty weird. 45 to 54? That's all has to do with love and whatnot. Then it was with Ukrainian SSR from 1954 to 1991. It says within the Soviet Union. But then in 1992, it actually became the Soviet Union, like broke up or whatever. It became Russia, whatever it is now. But it actually belongs to Ukraine again, except for the city of Sevastopol. It says whose status, once again, it is an exception city. So its status was once again due to its strategic importance as the port of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, remained disputed between Ukraine and Russia until 1997, when it was agreed that it should be treated as a city with special status within Ukraine. So basically they've been fighting, or not really fighting, but they're trying to gain power over this piece of land for many years now. But just interesting the numbers that it stops at or whatever. But also look at the Crimean Oblast. Look at the coordinates: 49 degrees and 23 degrees. I mean, that's, who knows? That's why it's in the news, I really think, because of the 49. So I just wanted to look at the city that has the special exception. And look at the coordinates of this city: 44 degrees and 33 degrees. I mean, big numbers. Also, if you add this name up in gematria, some of the numbers it adds up to: 144, 45, and 54. And 144 we've talked about a decent amount, like Chicago, Illinois, and some other things. But I just found it interesting that Russia, it says, as of 2015, has nearly 144 million people. So then in 1954, when it transferred back to Ukraine, it says that it happened, they had a meeting or whatever, and they issued a decree transferring it. It was on February 19th, 1954. But somehow they didn't have the authority to do so due to these articles 33, 22, and 23. And so anyway, it says the decree was first announced on the front page of Pravda on 27 February 1954. So that would be 227. That's 49, or 49th prime number. Also 1954. So pretty interesting. And that newspaper, it says that it was founded on May 5th, 5/5/1912. And it was because of the anniversary of Karl Marx's birthday. And so Karl Marx was born on 5/5, even died on Pi Day. Wow. But that led me into the Bolsheviks and everything else. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. So the October Revolution, or the Bolshevik Revolution, or these other Red October here. The Bolsheviks, like, what does it say? It took place with an armed insurrection in Petrograd or whatever. But basically, they took over this capital city here, and it eventually led up to the Russian Revolution of 1917. But Red October, actually, it shows that it happened on October 25th, 1917, and then it tells you by the Julian, but actually on Gregorian, it's November 7th, 1917. And that's just really interesting because November 7th, there's 54 days left until the end of the year, so another 54. And 1917 is a Jubilee year. So it is 49 years away from 1966, and this year is 49 years away from 1966 as well. So this was 98 years ago, or will be 98 years ago in November. Well, so basically, this revolution was just a seizure of state power that happened in Petrograd, which was the capital at the time. And it was just another part in the Russian Revolution of 1917. And this Russian Revolution actually eventually led to the Bolsheviks beating the whites, or the Reds beating the whites, the anti-socialists. And in 1922, it led up to the creation of the Soviet Union, the USSR. So the Soviet Union, and actually Russia now, the capital is Moscow. And look where Moscow is. 55 degrees north, 37 degrees east. 55-37. We talked about that a lot. 37, 55, the year that Jesus was conceived, according to the Enter the Stars video, which if you go watch it, it makes sense. But also, I can't even remember what I made a video on it, something to do with the mirror of this, and it led to 1776 and 1812. Can't even remember. Have to go back and look. Just not going to take the time to go do it but yeah, 55-37, definitely two numbers together that we've talked about. And Nikita Khrushchev, then, he's in the Back to the Future 2 movie. They talk about him when Biff goes back and changes the past, and then he's still the premier or whatever and it's also in the newspaper when he goes to the future or something. I can't even remember it all, but yeah, Nikita Khrushchev is a big part, or a decent part, in Back to the Future 2. But he is the guy who is responsible for, in 1954, Crimea going back to Ukraine. Even born in 1894, so 94, the Mirror of 49, dies on September 11th, 1971. Also, before I went too far, I wanted to point out that when I said it went back to Ukraine, but Ukraine was actually part of the Soviet Union at the time, so it didn't necessarily go back to just like Ukraine. And then also with Khrushchev, it talks about the Cold War and whatnot, and they made the first ever satellite. It's Sputnik 1, but look when it was launched. if I can find it here, October 4th, 1957. So the big 88 day. And then they also had the first human in space. It was this guy. He was born in 1934, died at age 34. Thought that was kind of interesting. So Vladimir Putin, he's the president of Russia right now, the current president. But look when he was born. October 7th, 1952. Interesting, the 52 again. There was even a Crimean War. Then look when it happened, 1853 to 56. That means that it happened in 1854 as well. So found that kind of interesting. Russia actually lost to an alliance of France, Britain, and the Ottoman Empire. And once again, they were fighting over the town or the city Sevastopol on the Crimean Peninsula. Or not necessarily fighting over it, but it says the Russian threat required control of the Black Sea, and the key was the Russian naval base at Sevastopol. So, I mean, it was a key point again. And I guess nothing really that special about this, but I just wanted to point out that Chernobyl, the Chernobyl power plant disaster or whatever, it actually happened in Ukraine. So I don't know, just find that weird. I guess, but it's in Ukraine. Ukraine is all about 49s. This is a really popular disaster. So I guess just pointing out that it was actually in Ukraine. And I know it's kind of disorganized and whatever, just kind of did it on the fly, but I just thought it was really interesting that there were so many 54, 45s and whatnot around Ukraine, and it's been in the news, and then it's on the 49th meridian or whatever, parallel, 49 degrees, whatever. Also, you know, you got all the stuff of like, I mean, there's tons of different stuff. There's the trident on their coat of arms. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff with this. There was the trident on the Malaysian Airlines. Then you had that next flight that got shot down over Ukraine, and there was the two buildings with the HH, the 88. You have like, I don't even know why I'm just going back with this. Barbados, where Rihanna's from. There's all kinds of stuff with it. The flag is actually a trident. It's all about Neptune. But yeah, I'm just going to end it there. I mean, I could talk about this. I could just keep talking about all the old videos and whatnot I've made, so it's just kind of pointless. But anyway, just have a great night, and yeah, who knows? Oh yeah, and I just wanted to, I don't know, the song "Cry Me a River." Doesn't really have to mean anything. Just when I think of Crimea, I think of this song. Just stupid, but look, it came out on this album that released on November 4th, 2002. November 4th, 44 or whatever, Egyptian Valentine, and then 2002, the 22. So, yeah, that's really all I wanted to say. Just felt like pointing that out.